Mathematics of chemistry, mole mass conversions. Specifically in this tutorial, we're going to look at mole to mass conversions. So we're going to look at an example of converting mass to moles and examples of converting moles to mass. What is a mole mass conversion? The conversion factor that we're going to use here is gram formula mass is equal to 1 mole of particles, or 1 mole of particles is equal to the gram formula mass. Let's look at an example. How many grams are in 2.5 moles of calcium carbonate? Our given is 2.5 moles of calcium carbonate, and what we want is grams of calcium carbonate, and we know that grams is associated with mass. Our conversion factor, because I'm nice on this one, is 1 mole of calcium carbonate is equal to 100 grams of calcium carbonate, because that is the gram formula mass of calcium carbonate. So the first thing that I'm going to do is write out my given. My given is 2.5 moles of calcium carbonate. I'm going to put a multiplication sign and a line. If I start with moles, then moles are going to go on the bottom. So I know that 1 mole of calcium carbonate, it's calcium, is equal to 100 grams of calcium carbonate. And then I'm going to check my units, so moles cancel moles, and what I want to end in is grams. So 2.5 times 100 is 250 grams of calcium carbonate. One thing to take note of is that I start with 2 significant figures, so my answer should end in 2 significant figures, which in this case it does. Let's do another one together. How many grams are in 3 moles of Na2SO4? Before we even think about writing out our given or doing anything else with these types of problems, we need to figure out the gram formula mass of Na2SO4. So I know that I'm going to have an Na, an S, and oxygen. So in this formula, we have 2 sodiums with an atomic mass of 23. So 2 times 23 is going to be 46 grams. We have 1 sulfur, which has an atomic mass of 32. So 46 and then 32. 4 oxygens, atomic mass of 16. So 4 times 16 is 64 grams. And then if I add those all up, I get 142 grams per 1 mole. So now that I have the gram formula mass, I can work on this conversion. My given is 3 moles of Na2SO4, multiplication sign and a line. I know that 1 mole of Na2SO4 is going to be equal to the gram formula mass, which I just calculated to be 142 grams per 1 mole. I am going to make sure that my units cancel, so moles cancel moles, and then my final answer is going to be 3 times 142, and if I work that out, I will get 426 grams of sodium sulfate. Let's do another example, but now we're going to go in the opposite direction. How many moles are in 68 grams of H2S? I need to figure out the gram formula mass of H2S, so I'm going to write out a hydrogen and a sulfur. There are 2 hydrogens here with an atomic mass of 1, so that's 2 grams. There is 1 sulfur with an atomic mass of 32 grams, so that's 32 grams. If I add those 2 together, I get 34 grams per 1 mole of H2S. Now I can write out my given, 68 grams of H2S, multiplication sign and a line. If I start with grams, then the gram formula mass of H2S will go on the bottom, and 1 mole, because that is what I want, of H2S will go on the top. I calculated that the gram formula mass of H2S was 34, so I want my units to cancel. Grams cancel grams. And then when I work this out, 68 times 1 divided by 34 should give me 2.0 moles of H2S, which makes sense because, again, I have 68 grams. That's 2 significant figures. And I'm going to have 2.0 at the end, which will also represent 2 significant figures. So this is an example of how to go from grams to moles. Let's do one more example together. How many moles in 63 grams of sodium fluoride? I have to figure out the gram formula mass of sodium fluoride. So a sodium and a fluorine. There is 1 mole of sodium here involved in this sodium fluoride. So 1 times 23 is going to give me 23. 1 fluorine, atomic mass of fluorine is 19. So 1 times 19 is 19 grams for both of these. And when I add that up, I get 42 grams for the gram formula mass of sodium fluoride. Now I can set up my conversion. I have 63 grams of sodium fluoride to begin with, multiplication sign and a line. If I start with the mass needs to go on the bottom, specifically gram formula mass. So grams of NaF, I want moles of NaF. I know that the gram formula mass of NaF is 42. Grams cancel grams. 63 times 1 divided by 42 is 1.5 moles of NaF. Again, I started with 2 significant figures. I'm ending with 2 significant figures. My units cancel, so my final answer is 1.5 moles of sodium fluoride. So what did you learn? We talked about how to do mole mass conversions. We looked at an example of converting mass to moles, and then we looked at an example of converting moles to mass. Need more help? Feel free to contact me. Have a great day.